So you've decided to self-publish your book, and the first thing you might ask yourself is, what do I need to self-publish a book? And some of the things may be obvious, like obviously you need the manuscript of your book, you need it formatted, cover, all of that. But then actually when you go to actually do all the technical side of things of like uploading the book and figuring out which print-on-demand company, you realize there's a lot more to it. So today we're going to be talking about all the things that you need to have prepared when you finally sit down to upload your book to one of those print-on-demand companies like Kindle Direct Publishing, Ingram Sparks, Barnes & Noble Press. So we're going to be basically talking about a checklist of all the things that you're going to need and have prepared when you want to self-publish your book. And if you are someone who likes checklists, I highly recommend checking out the Book Launch Planner series, specifically my Book Launch Planner. This is the third book planner in the series because it actually has a literal checklist. This is the Publishing To-Do List checklist. So this is an even broader list than what we're talking about today. But today we're just talking about everything that you need to have prepared when you go to sit down and upload your book to a print-on-demand company. Hello everyone, my name is Mandi Lynn. I'm an author, book cover designer, and the creator of the Book Launch Planner series. And if you like weekly videos on the business of being an author, then make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you never miss a new upload. Before we jump too far into the video, I want to take a quick pause and thank the sponsor of today, which is BetterHelp. You guys, self-publishing a book is stressful. I should know, the last time I found myself in therapy, it was around the time that I was self-publishing Meet Me at the Summit. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's 100% online. Basically, the way it works is when you sign up and make an account, there's a survey that you fill out so you can identify what specific needs you have, and then you'll be matched with a licensed and professional therapist. They make the scheduling super easy so everything works around your schedule rather than the other way around, because let's face it, we're all busy. If you want to get 10% off your first month of therapy, go to betterhelp.com/Mandi Lynn. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Mandi Lynn. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. So when it comes to what files and information you need to have prepared when you sit down to self-publish your book, it's broken down into two different categories. The first category is the metadata, and then the second category is the book itself. So let's first talk about the metadata, because that's probably the most boring part of it, but also the most overlooked part of it, because the metadata is the difference between making a sale on your book or not. It's basically what gets your book discovered on search engines. It's super, super important, but again, a lot of authors overlook it. Now, if you're someone who does a lot of research into marketing and specifically marketing to your genre, then you know a lot of things that pertain to the metadata of your book is super important, and your book title is one of them. So it varies from genre to genre, but a lot of the times you'll notice that book titles will have certain trends in certain genres. For example, my newest book that just came out, The Trail to You and Me, I picked out that title because it kind of followed genre trends in the sense that it shows that it is a romance in the title of the book, The Trail to You and Me. Just based on the title, you can tell it's a romance, so make sure to always put a decent amount of thought into your book title. Next up, we have the subtitle. Subtitles is another metadata trick to improve the way your book shows up in search. So you can have a subtitle that kind of helps describe the book, but I personally like to use subtitles that use keywords. For example, for one of the books in the Marketing for Authors series, we have Plan a Profitable Book Launch. That's the title of the book, and the subtitle of the book is Create a Successful Book Release Strategy with Publishing Timelines, Pre-Order Campaigns, Getting Reviews, and more. So obviously you can see here I added a bunch of keywords and key terms to the subtitle to make it so when people search for the book on Amazon, hopefully this book shows up. Subtitles for nonfiction books are super simple because again, it's keyword stuffing like that. And I tend to use the subtitle of my fiction books to state either some major tropes in the book or just to state the genre. So for The Trail to You and Me, the subtitle is a standalone contemporary romance. And I put in contemporary romance because that's the genre, and I put in standalone because it's technically book 3 in a series, but I wanted it super clear that it is a standalone book. It's kind of like a spin-off book where it's the same characters but different storyline, and you don't need the context from books 1 and 2 to be able to enjoy book 3. So I put the word standalone in the subtitle to make that super clear. The next thing on our list is your author name, which may seem super obvious, but as someone who just went through rebranding and changing my pen name, I now know how important choosing the right author name is. So if you're someone who writes in multiple genres like myself, you may find it very helpful to have different pen names for different genres. So now for myself, my fiction romances are under Mandi Lynn Bell, and my nonfiction how-to self-publishing and marketing stuff is under Mandi Lynn, to make a clear differentiation and to make marketing easier. And the more you learn and study about book marketing, the more you'll understand why targeting your specific audiences like this is super important. Next up, you need to decide the keywords for your book. So keywords is basically metadata info that you put in on the back end of KDP or Ingram Spark. And it's just giving the search engine more information about your book so it will hopefully end up in search when people are shopping. And while we're talking about keywords, I also want to talk about categories. Categories is just assigning your book to specific genres and pockets of categorization on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you publish your book. Now, if you're publishing your book on Amazon, I want to tell you guys about my favorite tool, Publisher Rocket. Now, Publisher Rocket is a tool that I've been using for years now to do research on keywords and categories. It takes a bunch of data that has been collected from Amazon, and you can use that data to figure out what keywords and categories would be best for your book. And this is super important now because Amazon only lets you use 3 different categories, so it's important that you choose the best 3 categories for your book, and I believe it's 7 keywords for your book. So use Publisher Rocket to do the necessary research to find out what keywords and categories would be best for your book. I personally am an affiliate, so if you want to try out Publisher Rocket, make sure to use my affiliate link in the description of this video. The last thing we'll talk about for metadata is the price of your book. You may not think the price of your book is super important, but it actually is. It can be make or break for a sale of your book. Ebook prices are all over the place because they can be as little as 99 cents or as much as $20 if you really wanted to price your ebook that high. And then for paperbacks, there's a minimum that you have to set for your book because KDP and Ingram Spark and all those places have a minimum set because they have to physically print the book, and then hopefully you make money for yourself afterwards. But I find the best thing to do when choosing the price of your book is to look at your competitors, specifically indie author competitors. Indie authors do tend to price their books slightly different from traditionally published authors, so you will notice a price variation. So just be mindful of that when you're deciding on the price of your book. But it's best to just kind of go with whatever prices everyone else is choosing in the industry because you'll blend it in that way and consumers are used to the price and they aren't going to be shocked by a low or high price on your book. All right, so that's everything about metadata. Let's now talk about the book itself. So first things first is the manuscript. And when it comes to the manuscript, the first thing we got to do is we got to format it. And odds are you're going to want to format it for ebook, and you're also going to want to format it for print. Depending on how tech savvy you are is dependent on how easily you'll be able to format your book yourself. Or you can also hire someone to format your book. But if you're an author that plans on publishing multiple books, I highly recommend learning how to format your book yourself. Whether you learn how to do it using Microsoft Word, which it's possible to format your book in Microsoft Word, but in my opinion, it's just not practical. You can also use softwares that are designed specifically to format your books, or my personal favorite is Adobe InDesign. This is a professional grade tool that's used for more than just book formatting. It's used for magazines, newspapers, endless other different things that I'm not even aware of. In my opinion, Adobe InDesign allows you to customize your book formatting the most. And once you learn how to use it, you'll kind of learn that the options are endless and you can get super fancy with your formatting if you want to. So if you have no idea how to use Adobe InDesign, I actually have a course that teaches you exactly how to format your book using Adobe InDesign. I teach you how to do it for print and then also ebook. So if you're publishing for ebook, you're going to need to have an EPUB file ready when you go to upload your book. Then if you're publishing a print book like paperback or hardcover, you're going to need a PDF file prepared. And you can do both of those things using Adobe InDesign. So if you're interested in taking my course, it will be linked down below. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is your book cover. And in my opinion, the book cover is the most fun part of everything. I know many authors that get very distracted by the book cover design process, and maybe they get the cover designed way too early in the self-publishing process. Or authors can also get distracted by the book cover design and they design something that they want instead of what would be best marketing-wise for your book. You want your book to blend in with other books of its genre, but also stick out so readers are eager to pick it up. You want the book cover to set clear genre expectations. You want the book to look professional, but you also don't want to spend a ton of money on it because we all got budgets here. So I personally design book covers professionally. I've worked with many hundreds of authors at this point to design their book covers. And I'm actually in the process of making a book cover design course. I've been working on this course for literally months, and it will be releasing later on this summer. So if you're someone who's always wanted to learn how to design book covers so you can kind of save money, especially if you're someone who publishes multiple books and wants to make a career out of this, it's best to be able to learn how to design your own book cover because then you will literally save hundreds of dollars every single time you self-publish a book. So the course is coming soon. It's not out yet, but you can sign up for the waitlist. It will be linked down below. And in the course, we'll be covering everything that you need to know, from learning how to use Photoshop to genre expectations and genre research to actually designing the cover itself. So what exactly do you need to have prepared when you go to upload your book to print-on-demand companies? Well, you need two different things. Assuming you're a typical author, you'll need the ebook cover, which is just the front cover of the book. And when you're publishing your ebook, that's all you need to upload for a cover. And then when you're publishing your paperback edition, you'll need the paperback wrap, which includes the front cover, the spine, and the back cover. And that needs to be a PDF that is designed specifically to the print-on-demand company's printing requirements. So for each different company, there's a different print template that you use, and that template actually changes depending on what color the paper is, how many pages your book is. And you use that template, you drag and drop your cover into that template, and you design your book accordingly, and then you export as a PDF that is print ready for publishing. I know that might sound complicated, but I promise it's actually not that complicated. But again, this is all stuff that will be covered in my book cover design course. So that is everything that you need to have prepared and ready when you go to self-publish your book. I recommend that you have your files ready and all set to go. And then as far as all the metadata stuff that we talked about, I personally like having a Google document open with all of that information already filled out and ready to go. So when I go to upload the book to KDP or one of those companies, I'm just copying and pasting all the information, and then that makes the uploading process super simple and painless. Now, if you want to see a step-by-step of the uploading process, I actually have a lot of tutorials. I have a tutorial for Kindle Direct Publishing, for Ingram Spark, for Barnes & Noble Press, and I believe I also have one for Draft to Digital. So all of those tutorials will be linked in the description of this video so you can check them out. That way, now that we've talked about all the information, you can watch those videos and see it in action as we go through the step-by-step uploading process. That is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below, or if you have requests for other videos. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week.